You are in this race. Get in the fight.
Yes, sir.
Don't tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want.
While we've been doing our silly little jokes and sketches, you've been sitting there gasping, "This is the greatest show I've seen in my life."
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. A question from me to you. What is the most terrifying entity you can watch in 4K? Well, I'm about to put you out of your misery.
Hello, I'm Bella Ramsey, and I'm about to take my 5th driving test. I'm a bit nervous, haven't had much time to practice.
You're
That's
nervous?
fine, because I've got the PlayStation VR 2
No.
and Gran Turismo 7 to help me out. Be like I'm actually driving, right?
No, that's not the concept of driving, Miss Bella Ramsey. The concept is going to a driving school, sitting next to a driving instructor, and going through your paces. May I remind you, ladies and gentlemen, Bella Ramsey is your future pin-up girl. That's right, you can't ogle at a buxom blonde, brunette, or redhead anymore. This is the future of acting. Gen Z. Ugh, good grief. Mind you, I am halfway through Twisted Metal at the moment, and I'm actually enjoying that. But today, ladies and gentlemen, this is my quick review for Gran Turismo, which I saw last night at my local Cineworld. For some bizarre reason, they only had it on for one big massive screening on their super screen, because guess what? Barbenheimer has to get her space back today. God damn it. And yeah, the super screen, if you're not familiar with it at Cineworld, it's about 4 double-decker buses high, whereas the IMAX is about 12 or 13 double-decker buses high. So there's a bit of a ratio in terms of circumference and width and enjoyment and sound. But I gotta say, my screening last night was pretty good. Not many people in the audience, fathers and sons turning up, which I appreciated, and I'm going to talk about that in terms of this film. Now, the tagline for Gran Turismo is "From Gamer to Racer." It's about the story of real-life gamer turned racer Jan Moldenborough, played by Archie Madekwe. Now, the only credits that I know him for is Midsummer and maybe the odd TV show here and there, but when you hear him, he's kind of a softly spoken version of Clive Owen. That's either a good or a bad thing depending on your viewpoint about Mr. Charmer himself, Owen. But yeah, he spent thousands of hours locked away in his bedroom, not looking at porn, but playing thousands of hours of Gran Turismo on the PlayStation 2, 3, as I believe it was. And much to his father's chagrin, played by the always awesome Xiaomon Honzu as Steve Moldenborough, he doesn't understand his son's fascination with his hobby, because ever since his son was about yay high, I'm talking midget size here, he posed next to a really cool sports car, I believe it's a Ferrari, and from that moment onwards, he was just laser focused. I've been using that phrase quite a lot this week, actually.
You think you're gonna play a stupid video game about cars and you're gonna become a race car driver?
And of course, if you want to go to racing driver's school, it costs money, it costs time. But then we enter the character of Danny Moore, as played by the always great Orlando Bloom. You know what? People give Orlando a lot of shit over the years for his acting ability and the presence that he brings, but honestly, the guy literally has let his hair down in his film, and he's suited and booted, and he's the guy that came up with the idea of, well, why don't we just handpick the best Gran Turismo racers around the world, enter them into a competition, and whoever qualifies will go to the GT Academy. The Gran Turismo Academy was a thing for a few years, and it was meant to reopen in 2017, but that didn't actually surface again.
The 10 of you are the best Gran Turismo players in the world.
And it's in partnership with Nissan Cars. So he has this meeting in Japan, and again, Japan figures again in the film later on, and they do handpick eventually all these competing racers, including some women, which I thought was very hilarious, because I'll get to that point later on. So when we see Danny's family, you know, I've talked about his dad already, but his really attractive mum caught my attention, and I'm thinking, that can't be her. Why is it? Why do I have a familiarity that it could be Jerry Halliwell from the Spice Girls? Which is why at the beginning of this video, I used to clip from their seminal hit Wannabe, because it's her. She's now known as Jerry Halliwell Horner, not stuck in a corner. Well, actually, she is stuck in a corner in some of this film, but the scenes she's asked to she's called upon to be a mum and a loving wife to her husband. It really worked. She wasn't irritating. She was just there to be family support, which I truly appreciate. Jan's got a brother. He doesn't figure too much in the film. There are a couple of tearaways, but they're mostly well behaved. And yeah, I talk about the fit mum. I love the in-betweeners, and I know some people are on the very far left-hand side of the fence now. Used to love the in-betweeners before, but of course now they've all turned even more wokey-dokey. You can't like the in-betweeners because you can't talk about mums and wanting to sleep with them. I'm telling you this much, back in my school days, if any of my other friends had really fit, sexy mums, I would find an excuse to go around to their house every day. Trust you and me, I would do it because I have no depth of depravity I won't stoop to.
Is that your mum? I told her not to come and pick me up. She's fit. Yeah, I'd fuck her. Thanks very much. No, but I would though.
But the father and son dynamic between Hanzu and Archie Madekwe was really heartfelt, actually. I did like their bonding, what we saw of them, and you know, that was kind of a common theme throughout the movie. I will say that Gran Turismo feels like two different movies. It felt like the first Godzilla from Gareth Edwards in 2014. What was the biggest complaint about that film? Not enough Godzilla and more humans interacting. And I felt that was the problem with this film as well, because I came to Gran Turismo because I love playing motorsport games. My favorites actually Forza Horizon and Motorsport. And I do get tips from Hoshi Hoki, one of the great YouTubers out there, on how to drive those cars around your favorite grid. So that's the thing. You see the cars appear, then you get them in video game form for a short time. Neil Blomkamp is the director of this film. Again, he's a director behind Halo Landfall from 2007. If you haven't seen that, that was the version of Halo. The live action version we should have gotten a few years ago, but no, Paramount decided to take that and turn it into Master Cheeks. So yeah, I'll leave a link in the video for Halo Landfall. Go and watch it. I mean, Neil Blomkamp, most famously known for Chappie, okay, Hugh Jackman and that mullet, and of course District 9. But he does bring some flair here, but I just wanted the racing scenes to be more drawn out, not cut away too quickly, which I found a little bit jarring after a while. The other film it does remind me of in that respect is Bend It Like Beckham from 2002. Some people have called this the Top Gun on wheels. I disagree. It is more like Bend It Like Beckham because you've got the family drama, you got the bits of car racing interspersed, and of course in this case they're getting wheels of steel bending around a corner as opposed to kicking a football. So that's kind of what it takes its cue from, I'll have to say that much. David Harbour as Jack Salter, a former racing car driver who's now an instructor, is fantastic. I think since Dave lost a bit of the weight, he just looks really good. And maybe being shacked up or married to Lily Allen is doing him some, I don't know, is making him see things in a different light. So good for those two. An odd pairing, I must say, but whatever shakes your boat, man. That's all I got to say.
You've raced it, what, like 1,000 times? Now you just got to do it in real life.
And I will say, going into this film, if you can watch it on the IMAX, that's probably the best way to watch it, because the final act of the movie takes place in Le Mans, and that's not the actual circuit. They've obviously recreated it somehow, but a lot of it is all practical work. Neil Blomkamp doesn't really use too much CG. There is some CG in it for sure. The cars look fantastic. The licensed models they grabbed are incredible. Porsche's in it. Obviously, Nissan is a main feature of the whole storyline. You got a Ferrari. You even got a McLaren F1 in there, which is gold-plated. It's insane. So I loved all of that. And that last act is pretty good. In the middle, though, there is something shocking that happens. And I thought, this can't be true. And then I looked it up online, and yes, Jan Moldenborough wanted a particular scene to be used in the film. They sought his permission because he rightly said, if you left that out, you'll be doing a disservice to the story and how Danny, or should I say how Jan struggled to overcome those obstacles. And that's the one thing I did appreciate about this film. I mean, if it was made by Disney, you'd probably get the SJWs calling out certain casting aspects, because I can guarantee you that would actually happen. and also the fact that the hero wouldn't struggle. He will already get to where he is, and then you've already got a boring movie. But at least the hero here has to struggle. In fact, when he qualifies to get his F1 license, he fails quite a few times. He comes 27th, then he comes 22nd, then 8th, and then one time he doesn't even finish the race. So I did appreciate those struggles until he gets to the podium at the end, and I thought that was great. And that's not even a spoiler. You know, one thing I do like about this film, I do appreciate the takeaway, not just a father and son dynamic, which was really moving at times. I did appreciate that. Xiaomon Honzu, man, that guy, when he cries on screen, it's so moving. I can feel people in the audience were just feeling very quiet, and you can soak in that moment. It does remind me of movies that you saw back in the early 2000s, you know, when cinema going was just a great experience. You know, that's all it was. It couldn't be anything more or anything less, and I do appreciate that. One other thing this film was missing, and I've got to this article right here. The pit girls. Where were the pit stop girls? I missed them. And of course, this article from 2018 by Janet Street Poulter with the big goofy teeth and as ugly as sin. Goodbye, grid girls. There is no place in sport for sexual objectification anymore, says the pug ugly woman who's never been laid in her life. Well, actually, she has been, but honestly, she's probably gagging for it right now, and I'm not going to be in that queue or waiting to satisfy her. So, ladies and gentlemen, Gran Turismo. I think the Americans get it towards the end of August, so wah, 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 we beat you to it, Yankees. And yeah, you do get an annoying Yankee in this movie as well, but he does come around in the end, so yeah, save me from punching the screen. If you enjoyed the film, I might get it on Blu-ray or a Steelbook edition. It's worth it, actually, in some respects, maybe when it's a pre-owned sale. Shocking this comes from Sony, because Sony's one of the most woke companies out there. There's not a hint of that in this movie. The female drivers who did qualify for the GT Academy all dropped out, but this is probably down to She-Hulk and her driving skills. So in the end, it took a man to actually stand on a podium and claim his prize, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. So ladies and gentlemen, if I were you and if you were me, you better make yourself some tea and come back for the next video.